And then, yeah. So welcome, Lissy. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And hello, everyone. As Matt said, my name is Lizzie, and I am here on behalf of, we're actually a little community interest company. We're tiny, but we're called Life After Cancer. And we are what we say on the tin, really. So we were set up by Steph Davies, who's our founder, because after she finished her cancer treatment, she felt somewhat lost because there was nothing really available to sort of support her through that. And I mean, I can speak from a bit of personal experience as well, is that I think that's something that I also experienced. And I know lots of people do. Not everyone, everyone's an individual, but people do. You go through whatever treatment or surgery you go through, and you're just being sort of the medical team are in charge really, and you're just going gritting your teeth and getting through what you need to. And also your life feels a little bit on hold while that's happening, so you're not really engaging in your life in the way that you did before. And so when it comes to the end of that process, whatever that looks like, um, it's often that time where people do feel a bit like, I'm not quite sure just what happened. You haven't processed what's happened to you. You haven't had time to really process or think about any of that. And also, because your life has been on hold, it's not easy to return back to that life. And I always sort of think about it as almost like being at a train station. And when you're diagnosed, you step off the train and then you have your treatment and you're almost like in the waiting room and you're watching everyone else's trains going whizzing off to their destinations. Then you're better and the doctor say, that's great, you can go now. And then you get back onto the platform, but you're like, I don't know now. That train's looking a bit old. Do I want to get back on that one? Do I want to go to a different destination? And you suddenly feel that there might be questions about, what do you actually want to do? Do you want to return to your old life? Or are there things that you want to do that may feel, am I speaking about initial treatment? I'm speaking about the whole treatment finishing, and the doctors say to you, okay, you are in remission now, and you are then in that mindset where you are looking to get back to normal life, whatever that may look like. So what we do is we support people through that transition. So how do we do that? Well, we have largely online sessions because we're small. We want to reach as many people as we can, so we are online. We have what we call support sessions, and these are themed. So they might be something like building up your confidence, it might be navigating relationships post treatment. And the session is an hour long. It's run by a trained coach who facilitates the session, and that coach would have had cancer themselves as well. And it's an opportunity to start looking at that topic, kind of figuring out where you are, and also having the opportunity to talk to other people. And I think this is really crucial. And I'm sure you feel this in the group that you're in now. The opportunity to talk to other people who are in really similar situations and people who get it really means a lot, and it can be really validating. What we hope from those sessions is you come out with some strategies and some ideas about how actually you are going to move forward in that particular area. So we have those sessions and they run, I think they're almost like weekly. I'm afraid to say, Lee, that they are an Eventbrite, so you do have to go through the Eventbrite. And when you were speaking, I was like, I've been there. I've been there.
I think I'm just an Eventbrite numpty. I never seem to find the link.
The
I'm
same.
generally mostly competent on a computer, but I have a blind spot.
Well, I think I do as well, because I have definitely been chasing around trying to find the link. But hopefully, anyway, it's you receive the link and then you can save it. It's a very simple sign up process, as you know. So we have these support sessions. We also have what we call expert sessions, and they're when people who are real experts experts in their field, and they might be psychologists, doctors, researchers, that kind of thing. They come and talk to us about specific subjects, and these subjects are things that our community have told us, this is something that we are finding challenging, or we're stressed about, or we feel anxiety about, or we'd like to know more about. So some examples of things that we've had recently: we had Dr. Alex King talk to us about managing scanxiety. So those feelings that when you've gone for your scan and you're waiting for results, or for whatever surveillance that you are under and you're having to wait for results. We've had Dr. Lauren Heathcote talk about harnessing helpful mindsets. So just thinking about how you can possibly reframe sometimes the way we think to help us. We've got coming up, we've got I can't remember her name, but it's about the fear of recurrence and managing again those feelings around being fearful of something coming back. We've got another session around for people whose fertility have been affected. So we've got a massive range. That's just some examples. And I think what's really great about those sessions is the opportunity to be in front of someone that you never normally would have the opportunity to. These people are real experts. So you're getting really kind of up-to-date, helpful, hopefully, knowledge. And you've also got the opportunity to ask them questions. So we have quite a lively chat, in the chat box, so you can see what other people are saying. And I think even if you don't contribute to a session, which loads of people don't, you can just sit there and have your camera off and listen. Just by seeing what goes on in the chat, again, it just makes you feel a little less alone, because someone might say something and you think, oh, I feel like that sometimes. Yes, as I say, there's the opportunity to ask questions. And so I just think they represent a really fantastic opportunity to talk to people who just really know their stuff in a very particular field. So they're the expert sessions. And then the other online sessions that we do are what we call our 6-week program. And that's a coaching program. So obviously, again, it's facilitated by a trained coach who will have had cancer themselves. And it's, as I say, it's 6 weeks and it's 2 hours per week. Now, the other sessions I described are free. This one does have a fee attached to it. And this is because it's £30 for the 6 weeks. The reason for that is that when we had it for free, people dropped out or people didn't turn up. And the issue with that is that they're either taking someone else's space that we would have wanted to join, or they're just kind of affecting or diminishing the experience of other people in that group. So, however, I must say that if that £30 just feels like too much and that you're not unable to pay it, you just email us and we'll just put you in the group anyway. We never want that to be a barrier for anyone. So, if you want to, you can ask for it back at the end as well. It's merely a way of ensuring attendance, not for us to make money. So as I say, this is 2 hours a week. You'd be in a group of maximum 12 people, and it's really this kind of much more individualized approach. So it would be, sometimes you'd work on your own, sometimes you'd work in groups of other people, and it's looking at things like your identity. Who are you now? What's important to you now? What matters most? Is it what mattered before, or is it something different? And then starting to think about, well, what are my values now? Are they the same? What do I want to do? Because often people might think that they may not want to go back to work, or some people actually do want to go back, but they find psychologically it might be quite a difficult thing to do. So it's then thinking about, well, what is your vision? If you can start to think and describe that, and then we start to help people think about what might be some of those first steps that you take to start to work towards that. And what I will say is that, yes, I've said that we support people in that transition from ending treatment to and then sort of getting back into life. But equally, some people might go back to work really quickly, and it might be 6 months later they're thinking, hang on a minute, something isn't right, I don't feel good, I don't feel happy, or something just isn't. And then it's then that they might think, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. And we're there for those people as well. You could have finished treatment yesterday. You could have finished treatment 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. And some people will come on that coaching program and then 2 years later, maybe coming up against another barrier, and then they can come back on as well. And certainly we've had really good feedback in that people say that they feel much improved sort of mental well-being, but also reduce that sense of isolation. And I think anyone who has had this experience of having cancer knows that in your immediate circle, it's kind of unlikely that someone who certainly will have had the same cancer. And so it can feel really, really isolating. And the ability to be with other people, I'm sure, as you know, and that's why you're here partly, I'm sure, just makes you feel much less isolated. And some of those feelings around feeling lost and not really quite knowing how to get back into your life, I think can be quite difficult to talk to family and friends about as well, because I think that they might struggle a little bit to understand where you're at. So we're here to sort of offer a warm welcome and hopefully give you some sort of practical tools and strategies, and kind of, as we say, you didn't choose cancer, but you can choose what comes next. So that's kind of a run through really of our online services.
Thank you, Lissy. That's really interesting to hear. I think just listening to what you're saying is you've got a real understanding of a lot of the challenges people face. I think without understanding our community as a whole, some of the things you mentioned about kind of anxiety and the topics you talk about are really important. I think some of our members, when you're diagnosed with rare cancer, so your tendency is immediately to try and find other people with that same cancer that you can connect with. But I think it's equally as important to try and find other people who have been through their own cancer journey, because you might be more likely to find someone who's in your area or someone you actually have a kind of a personal connection with, or you get on with really well with, and you might create more of a friendship. So I think the fact that you hold these sessions are definitely beneficial to anyone.
I think that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, it's one thing that can bind you with other people is that same diagnosis, particularly if it is a rare one and it's never talked about and you feel out of the conversation most of the time. But also with the coaching groups, we set up a WhatsApp group, so you can the group can communicate throughout the whole kind of program. But when the program finishes, that WhatsApp group remains. So if you have built up a connection with somebody, or the group itself just feels like a really lovely, supportive place, then that can carry on as well. And that's another way, I suppose, of kind of maintaining some support and connection.
Amazing. And with June obviously being in the group from the States, do you have people join who are just UK based, or do you find that you get people from all over?
Yeah, all over. Yeah, I think we've had people from the States, from Sweden, maybe from New Zealand. I don't know. I can't remember, but yes, it can be all over. And that's the beauty, isn't it, of being online?
Yeah.
Is that anyone can attend. It's amazing, really.
Amazing. Well, has anyone in the group got any questions they want to put forward?
I just have to say that the sessions that some of the sessions that you've had that you listed there were definitely topics that frequently appear on the Facebook group, on our Facebook group, with people having issues with them from time to time. I think perhaps one of the challenges we face as a rare cancer, and other rare cancers probably do, is the what living with cancer looks like when there is no end, because it's incurable. And if you happen to step on the road where you're playing whack-a-mole for the next 20 years trying to beat the little beastie back, I think that's sometimes difficult for the outside world to go, because it's like, oh, you had your cancer, you had your eye removed, you're all fine now, aren't you? You haven't had any treatment or anything like that, you're all good. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because there isn't any treatment, and
Yeah,
you're just sitting there doing that
yeah,
basically, and then at a certain point, hopefully not, but
yeah,
it pops its head back up again, and you're back into the. So there's, I guess maybe it's a little bit like remission, but with that extra edge, I think, because the
yeah.
incurable aspect of it um, makes it difficult to get that across to other people that it's not, I'm not all done just because my eye's gone now. It's not all over. It's not all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and that's quite. I imagine that psychologically sometimes. I mean, obviously, I'm sure sometimes you can put it out of your head, but other times, sort of living with that must be really, really difficult. And I suppose what I would that our sessions are for people who I get, are in remission, which in a way you're saying you are, but you've always got this sort of worry in the back of your head about if it comes back, then what? Um, and I just wouldn't want you to, in any way to feel if you came to one of those sessions, oh, this tonally doesn't feel right for me. That's the only thing I would sort of caution against. I suppose the other thing I would also say is I also had a rare cancer actually, and a lot of the women that I come across have had breast cancer.
Mm.
So there's that just to bear in mind, because sometimes I know what it feels like to not feel part of the club. Do you know what I mean? Because there aren't loads and loads of people that you can say, "Oh, yes, I had that exact same experience," because I didn't. So I guess that's the way it is, isn't it? The very common cancers, you're going to come across those so much more, and I guess that's the beauty of having a particularly diagnosis specific group. That even if you do access those kinds of services, you can come back still to sort of your home base, if you like, where you feel really where you feel like you belong.
Yeah.
Um, where are you located?
Well, we are based in London, in northeast
And
London, but
everything is done on Zoom?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And um, we're a small population in the world, is how I look at it.
Hmm.
And we have, sorry to say this, folks, but we have distinct issues. Um, whether you've had your eye removed or not, I mean, we go so far as before it rains, we can have excruciating pain in our tumor area, but after it pours buckets, we're fine. It's no problem.
Right.
We have sometimes we have an ocular pressure versus a weather pressure. If you
Right.
guys haven't experienced it yet, wait. Uh, I've actually I actually noticed it um, and mentioned it to a mentee of mine. And she started going, okay, I'm going to watch out for it. And she was like, oh my God, you're right, spot on. So, my question to you is what are your main cancers that you're dealing with? Because Ocumel is quite good about even though I don't know the people today, but I know the people in other groups of Ocumel. Ocumel is quite supportive for us as a unit. So, what are your cancers that you're mainly dealing with?
Well, I think probably the most common cancers. First of all, I would say we largely have women come, not men.
Well, that's normal because
Of
men
course,
don't
it's
like to
normal.
talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, absolutely. Of course, it is.
We've
But
done those
just
statistics too.
yeah, so just to say that. So it will be more of the breast cancer, certainly is probably the most common. After that, I couldn't really say because there are lots of different types, and there are people who have had rarer types or bowel cancer. So I say breast cancer is the predominant one. And as I said, that isn't my experience. But the subjects that we cover aren't about the particular cancers, they're about the response to them. And sometimes those emotional responses can be really similar despite the diagnosis. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. There are loads of folks who have scanxiety.
Yeah.
And when you get the report back, for example, we also have issues with the reports that we get, because sometimes, I speak for myself now, sometimes the reports are cut, copy, and paste, and they're incorrect.
Okay.
And that's something that is very, very noticeable in this cancer sometimes.
Mm.
And it's not pretty.
Mm. Yes, it doesn't make you feel very valued, does it?
Well, you kind of go, oh, good, I need another biopsy. And then an hour later, you read the report again, and you go, oh, this is missing. This is incorrect. I read this too quickly. This is what I read before, but now I'm going to translate it into, human English.
Yeah.
So sometimes that will happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Aren't you guys glad I woke up this morning?
I'm just trying to find the details of your. We'll have to get a link to your site, because I would imagine putting life after cancer into Google, we're going to get a significant amount of results that aren't going to be you.
Well, you'd be surprised, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me see if I can get the link for you. I should have come prepared with that, shouldn't I?
That's all right.
Or maybe it's just my Google, obviously, it comes up quickly. There we go. I've got the link.
That's one advantage of having a rare cancer. When you ask Dr. Google about something, you only get academic reports that require a medical dictionary to be open at the same time while you're reading it.
I bet, yeah.
Well, the trick is, Lee, stop going to Dr. Google. He's full of it.
Well, in our case, mostly he isn't. But yeah, don't read the statistics. They're not good.
Yeah, I avoided Google, I must say. I was too scared to read what might be there.
My surgeon told me not to.
I put the link to the events page in there.
Thank you.
So you can see what's there. And as I say, it's really easy to sign up. Just choose whatever is interesting to you. The 6 weekly program generally runs on a rolling basis, so because it does get booked up. So once one finishes, another one will start. With December coming up, there probably isn't going to be one, just because people get manic, don't they? And then in August we don't tend to run one because people aren't really around. But otherwise, it tends to roll on. So you don't have to wait too long if you don't want to sign up to that. And also you can sign up to our newsletter if you want to, and that will just keep you updated with we don't bombard you, like we're not emailing you every day, but you can then just see what's coming up, and that's nice way of keeping updated, and then you can see if there's anything that interests you.
These look really interesting. Thank you.
And Lissy, how does it work with your expert talks? Firstly, how do you decide what to talk about? And do you constantly change the theme of those, or just some of those talks repeat over time, or how do they work?
Yeah. So we have a very thriving WhatsApp community, and a large one as well. And so we go to them a lot about what is important to them, if we're thinking about developing different services, we'll always ask their opinion. So lots of the ideas around the subjects come from them. So they come from the community. And then we don't repeat them that much. They might be like, I'm not entirely sure, so I can't say this 100%, but maybe like on a 6 monthly basis, they get repeated. They definitely get repeated every year, but it may be a little more frequent, like on a 6 monthly basis. And what we also do is for example, with the scanxiety one, we scheduled one at 12:30 on one day, and then on another day there was one at 6:30 in the evening. So and we do that with the coaching program as well. There'll be some that are in the evening, because we know that some people are working. Yeah, that's hopefully answers your question.
Do you also have a mentee program or mentorship program for
No,
one-on-one?
No, not at the moment. We don't. No, we just have. I think through the WhatsApp group, people provide a lot of support for each other, and that's sort of where that kind of informal support comes from. And also, we've got someone who wants to sort of set up a local group in the north, and again, that's just something that they're doing off their own back, but from being part of that community, and that's brilliant. That's what you want, really.
Yeah, I bet it's always nice when members can kind of take it over than support themselves a little bit between each other. It helps, doesn't it? So
yeah,
that's really good. All really positive. Well, hopefully everyone's felt some benefit from today, and we've all got links now, so you can either sign up as a newsletter or join one of the events. So one of the talks.
Just from my side, it's my wife who had the ocular melanoma diagnosis. So it was about this time last year. So I've had a lot of support through this group, and through the support, that the psychological support that the charity provided as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything that is sort of tailored to the loved ones, to help from that side of things? It's a slightly different journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it is, and I think you go through it as much, but just in a very different way.
Yeah.
At the moment, we just have the funds to support people who are kind of have gone through it, i.e. the patient, if you like. But I do acknowledge that, yes, for family, for friends, whoever's close to that person, it's also a really, really difficult time. And it's great that you can get support here.
Thank you.
Perfect. Any more questions from anyone? No? I think everyone's got all the information they need. Amazing. Well, Lissy, thank you again for joining us. Like I said, hopefully what we'll do after the back of this, we'll share some more information with people that weren't able to join today. So you might see some of our members heading in your direction at some point.
That would be wonderful. Yeah.
So, yeah,
well,
it
thank you
sounds
so
like
much for inviting me.
That's right. Well, thank you for joining. Like I said, it sounds you're really well positioned to kind of help people. I think, like I say, that subsection of our community that aren't necessarily cured, but they've gone through their treatment and are kind of in that period where they are not receiving any more treatment. It sounds you can really help. So thank you again, and hopefully everyone's got some benefit.
Lovely, thank you. It's lovely to meet you all. Have a great day, and hopefully see you sometime.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.